It is a big day for heavy metal as Metallica have returned, and with it comes a massive stadium tour and the new record, 72 Seasons. This new album comes out on April 14th of next year. Along with that, their new single, Lux Æterna, the first song from this new album. And for reaction, we are joined by the one, the only Anthony Vincent. You also know of him as 10-Second Songs. Dude, what do you think of this new Metallica track that they just released?
I like it. I think it's out of left field for me. I didn't expect this. The last thing I would have expected coming from them. At first I was like, all right, like, you know, when it started, it kind of reminded me of something off of Ride the Lightning or something like that, you know, or maybe even like in their first couple of albums, you know, like the high, like the high strings thrashy stuff, but the chorus kind of has like this 80s anthem vibe to it almost, you know, like it's the last thing, like the vibe is slightly different than anything they've ever put out. I wouldn't have expected that. But at the same time, it kind of reminds me of something you'd hear off Garage Inc., like when they would do like a Merciful Fate like medley or something, you know. So like, I just think it's really, I'm pleasantly surprised in kind of a way that they didn't just rehash and repeat what they've done in the past, which is either more of their newer sound or more of like just trying to copy the old shit.
I agree. And first of all, I just also want to thank Anthony Vincent for being here on literally 2 minutes notice. He didn't have time to even set up in his studio. This all dropped so fast. So he's joining us via laptop. So thank you for being absolutely so flexible here. Now, this Metallica tour, the M72 World Tour, is no repeat weekend. This is from Metallica. It's up on your screen right now. And it is 2 nights, 2 different sets, 2 different opening acts in the round, according to Metallica. And that tour features, it's going to kick off on April 27th and 29th of next year in Amsterdam. And the opening support for that show is going to be Architects. And then the other day is Five Finger Death. It's Architects and Mammoth WVH. They have a little thing in the bottom left corner. And then Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills. Now, particularly here in the U.S., they've got a bunch of European dates they're doing, but particularly here in the U.S., let's talk about these stadium dates because the lineup is insane. So for night one, if you're going to see them in North America, for night one, you get Pantera and Mammoth WVH. So you get Pantera with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante in stadiums. Now, first of all, Anthony, we talked about this, and we're not sure whether or not Metallica has previously done American dates with Pantera. We're not certain about that, but we know that they were in the Moscow shows that had 1 million+ people in attendance in the early 90s. And so this is crazy.
That's the only memory I have of like ever seeing Pantera and Metallica paired up. Maybe they were in festivals together, but I don't remember there ever being like, I mean, you know, from what I just thinking back, I never went to see Pantera live or anything like that. Like I was getting into these bands when I was too young to even go to shows, but I feel like it would have stuck out to see like a Metallica Pantera tour. I don't think I've seen it. I don't know. Maybe it's happened, but I'd always see Slayer and Pantera. They were like brother bands, you know?
Yeah.
And like Megadeth, but that's you know.
Well,
I feel like researching that right now.
Yeah, well, and while you do that, I just want to point out that we obviously have plans in East Rutherford, New Jersey at MetLife Stadium on August 4th and 6th. Metallica is going to kick off this North American tour on that time with Pantera and Five Finger Death Punch, 2 nights, 4th and 6th. And the following weekend, they're in Montreal. Then the August of the 18th, they're in Arlington, Texas at AT&T Stadium. That's going to be a big deal for Pantera fans. Obviously, Pantera has a very rich history in Texas. May need to go to that as well. Then you've got August 25th and 27th at SoFi Stadium in LA. So Metallica's not just doing like, you know, let's say, for instance, the Motley Crue Stadium tour. Like they had stadiums for sure, but a lot of them were baseball stadiums. This is Metallica doing the best in class MetLife Stadium SoFi Stadium, AT&T Stadium, the biggest U.S. Bank Stadium in Minneapolis. That's a brand new stadium. Patriot Stadium, Gillette Stadium, Ford Field in Detroit, Michigan. These are your AAA best-in-class stadiums. This is a stadium tour unlike all stadium tours right here with this lineup. And also, it's great to see Metallica bringing out Mammoth and bringing out Ice Nine Kills as well, two newer entrants into rock music. Not that that Wolfie is new to rock, obviously, but Mammoth, his project, is newer in this game. So it's great to see Metallica bringing them out and bringing Ice Nine Kills out as well. And I can tell you the 2-day tickets go on sale on Friday. You can buy them as a package, obviously, for all of these shows. And also Metallica is promising that these shows are going to be 2 different sets for each show. So it says 2 nights, 2 different sets, 2 different opening acts in the round at the 50-yard line. And several years ago when they announced the Hardwired World Wired Tour, they did this with American football stadiums as well. And I got to see Metallica perform on the 50-yard line at Lincoln Financial Field as an Eagles fan. That is just unforgettable, and I'll never forget that. I'm not a Giants fan, but I'm not going to forget seeing them at East Rutherford at MetLife Stadium either. Obviously, I'm just not going to miss that. Pantera, Metallica, East Rutherford, New Jersey, the opening of the North American tour. Anthony, are you going to be there? Are we going to be at this show just headbanging?
We have to.
I mean, there's no choice.
I'm just like, my mind is, I'm just thinking about how to get tickets right now. It's going to be a big group, man.
Am I going to fall for dynamic pricing? Am I going to get screwed by that by Live Nation?
I don't know.
Are we going to? I mean, reveal the ticket prices when you reveal this tour of this lineup. Now, look, reveal the ticket prices. I'm going to pay whatever they are. I'm going to complain about it. But unfortunately for this lineup, I really don't have a choice. So
I know
Live Nation's just going to come in.
We were talking about the Pantera reunion. Like, are you going to go to the show? Everything, this all goes out the window now. Now it's just like, no, I have to be there.
Yeah, everyone's I
have to.
Everyone who's like, oh yeah, the Pantera lineup, like this right here, this lineup. And also shout out, I want to say I'm so happy for Five Finger Death Punch. Those are homies of mine, and those guys have been grinding for years and years, and it's so wonderful to see them. They did some dates earlier this year with Metallica in Europe. That obviously went very well, and they bring a big fan base. They have worked really intentionally at this to grow the band and connect with their audience. They love their fans. So I just want to say it's so great to see hard work paying off for these guys and to be out here with motherfucking Metallica. This is crazy. Pantera, I don't know what to say. I mean, Anthony, when this was first announced, they should have announced with it, hey, we're not just, it's so much more special that it's Pantera with Metallica to me. It's that much crazier. So to Metallica, kudos to you guys for taking an already good situation and fucking making history, because this is just wild.
I don't think they toured together.
I can't.
But then again, this isn't a tour. This isn't a tour. This is like select dates anyway,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's select dates because the crowds are so large. I think probably if you run the numbers, it's probably audience. I think to me, it counts as a tour just because they're touching just as many people, if not more, than any big tour in a year would. And you saw similarly with the stadium tour. Well, they did a lot more dates on the stadium tour, I will say, but maybe they're, I don't know. I just think that this is also probably Metallica having toured relentlessly for years and years. They are, I think, placing their personal well-being and stuff as well, especially for James, who, I think that being a front man and getting up there singing for 2 hours is not easy. And James is in great shape and he's done a great job. But, being a front man of a band of that intensity is very, very difficult. Being a drummer of that band, any member of the band, it's going to be very intense. So I think that they're very intentional about the way they schedule shows now, and they're hitting pretty much all the markets. I don't really see though any Southeast dates at all. I'm in the Southeast and I'm driving to New Jersey That's an 8-hour drive, and I will gladly make it. And yeah, this is just crazy.
So crazy. This is going to be insane.
I mean, really, and it's going to be historic, and people are going to talk about this for a long time. I think even like, people talk about the big four. I mean, where were you when you saw Metallica with Pantera, the celebration of Pantera? And also, again, Metallica didn't have to do this. They could put anybody in that slot, but they're giving, I don't think Pantera would be doing stadiums, okay, by themselves right now with Zakk Wylde and Charlie Benante. I've talked to people about this. It just, I don't think that is what's going to happen. So for Metallica, they're giving us, the fans, that opportunity to see Pantera in the appropriate setting. And that is on the big fucking stage. And this is going to be, I mean, really, I am so pumped about this. And also, I'm pumped that they chose Zakk Wylde. I'm pumped that they chose Charlie Benante for this. They didn't botch it. They didn't blow it. Zakk Wylde's going to go out there and destroy. Charlie's going to go out there and destroy. And the first show, by the way, Anthony, is on December 4th at Heaven and Hell Festival down in Mexico. So we're going to get a look at what Pantera sounds like here in the very near future. What do you expect to see when Pantera steps out on the stage in Mexico, which is a huge market for metal and a huge wonderful fan base down there? What do you expect to see when Pantera steps out on the stage at that first show?
The crowd's going to go wild. I'm just going to be looking at the crowd because I already know what to expect to see. Well, this whole thing, it's just going to be, I'm just going to take it in. I don't know. I don't expect anything. Actually, my expectations are low because, you just don't know with something like this. But I think that just the fact that they're going to be up there, it's not going to be perfect. I don't expect it to be perfect. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're not going to be seeing Pantera from the 90s. You're not going to see Phil in his best shape. Or in his prime.
Well, Phil was in bad shape, very bad shape towards the end of it.
Yeah, but I think he's in good shape considering.
He's in like CrossFit shape from what I've heard. He's actually physically fit now. And I've seen him in person. I've never spoken to him, but I saw him at one of the festivals I was at, and maybe he was 20 yards away from me, and he looks in good shape. I think he's like sober, healthy, and is into fitness now. And I think he shared a picture of himself, and the dude looked fucking jacked. Let me see if I can pull that up here.
I wonder what his vocal health is like.
That's a good question.
It's been a while since I've heard him.
Yeah, you look at pictures of him here. He's got a picture of him with Rob Zombie. He's got a picture of him. Yeah, I mean, if you look here, you can see he's kind of cut. I'm looking at a picture of him from March. But hopefully, I mean, without a doubt, I think he's taking this seriously. I think that I'm very curious to see kind of, like you said, what that vocal health sounds like. But we have an example. You can go over the last couple of years. He's been integrating. You had Phil Anselmo and the Illegals, and I think they were doing some Pantera songs during that time, and it sounded pretty good. And this is when you can get like a sober Phil and a healthy Phil, which I think have to come hand in hand. You're going to probably get some very good performances. So but it's also, this is a lot of pressure for a person to be under. This is probably the most anticipated live show of next year and of this year. And so it seems like they're managing it well. It's so far. It's hard to tell. Phil's not a guy who's ever really been on social media like that. So you really don't know how these guys are handling it. But the fans, I think, are also going to lift this band up. You have Pantera, the story, but you also have a large part of their history is their fan base. And these guys ride for this band, and guys and girls, and they show up to these shows, and the crowd is just as much a spectacle as the live performances. I'm wondering what kind of pit action we're going to see at these shows. And when you've got Metallica and Pantera, I mean, who has a problem with this? I want to know. Somebody come in the comments, who is complaining about this today? Because I would love to know, what is your issue?
There's gonna be some people.
Somebody who's mad at this, because I can't think of anything else I could want than to get to go and see Metallica and fucking Pantera, a celebration of Pantera.
You got to be careful in the pit. You're going to break some hips.
Oh, I mean, for me, there's going to be stretching. Yeah, there's going to be for sure some.
There aren't going to be too many young people in the pits. I'll tell you that.
I don't think so. I do think there'll be hopefully a lot of young people at the shows if you're a younger person, and But you're right, in the pit, there's going to be a lot of hopefully.
My hip.
There needs to be really like, how they have the jumbotrons at the shows, like before the show starts, like put on a stretching video. Right before it starts.
There's going to be a lot of dudes throwing out their lower back.
Yeah, dude. I'm one of them. I'm going to throw out my lower.
Oh, my back. Respect. Walk. Oh, my back.
Respect. Heat pack. Yeah, that's a very good point. I do think it's going to be
we're going to have people cramping up in the pit. Somebody stretching out people's legs in the pit. Like,
Absolutely. I think that the audience is from what it was in the 90s to what it is now. I do think you're going to, but I do think people are going to come out of pit retirement. I mean, how many of you out there who haven't been in the pit in 20 years is going to get in the pit?
I'm in pit retirement.
Are you coming out of pit? But see, you're not in physical fitness retirement. This motherfucker runs marathons.
No, I know. So Metallica and Pantera, there was a time where I dreamed of being in a Pantera pit.
I mean, I'm getting in. I have to. It's just, it's a once in a lifetime.
I've been in a Metallica pit before, and those were always fun. They're not like anyone who's afraid of pits and fists flying all over the place. You're not going to have that at a Metallica show.
But you might at Pantera.
I think Pantera would also be pretty old school. It might be a little bit more aggressive.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, like, not your like what do they call this with the people throwing the fists around? I don't think it'll be that kind of pit.
Hardcore dancing.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, I think that I don't think
you'd have too many crowd killers at this show.
No. I do think though it's going to be a very large like. You could see a Lamb of God style pit where it's just like fucking chaos.
Oh yeah,
and, very hardcore. So I mean, have we talked about the song yet? Metallica has the brand new song, which is called, what is it called? I just learned of what it's called. Lux Æterna. So this new song really for me gives me kind of in some ways 80s Motley Crue. There's a certain flavor of it that gives me a slight 80s Motley Crue vibe with the riffage and even the chorus to an extent. Now I know this is Metallica and it comes across as a Metallica song, but I'm just saying there are elements of the 80s from this for me, and they execute it very well. I like the song a lot. But it's cool to see Metallica never really caving into the pressure of what their expectations are, and they go their own way every time. And that's what I get from the song. I mean, what do you think on first listen? Because you really were on first listen right before we came on the screen here.
Oh, I told you. I think that it's at first the first thing that came to mind was Ride the Lightning. I started thinking about Ride the Lightning in their earlier albums. And as it progressed, I just I was trying to make, I had there subliminally a couple of times I had the same kind of feeling, like the Motley Crue vibe came up. I did think about Motley Crue a couple of times. Not that I said that, oh, this sounds like Motley Crue, but for some reason they flashed in my mind a couple of times while I was listening to it. And then of course the other part of it was it reminded me of some of the songs that they did on Garage Inc. when they would do Merciful Fate medleys and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely as far as like their original stuff, I haven't heard anything like that before, especially in that chorus. Like that took a little bit of a different turn than what we're used to, which I liked, because they could have done what they've done over and over again, which is, just like the past couple of albums. I know like the last album they put out in 2015 was like I felt like it was a melting pot of everything they've ever done. And this is like
Hardwired.
kind of like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but I mean,
Well, speaking of that, we have
there's a
some
different-
additional details on this record about what you can expect in terms. We actually have a track listing. So here's what the description of the album is. So it will be released in formats including black vinyl and limited edition variants, CD and digital. This is a 77-minute record with 12 brand new Metallica songs. So 77 minutes, 12 tracks. Lux Æterna is the first single of the song, and it says that obviously it's available now. They have a video which is out. The video is more so kind of a visualizer, but this is what Metallica says about the video. We recently traveled to Los Angeles to capture our performance using some crazy cutting edge technology, which Metallica does try to stay on the cutting edge of things. They always have done that throughout their career. James Hetfield says 72 seasons, the first 18 years of our lives that form our true or false selves. The concept that we were told who we are by our parents, a possible pigeonholing around what kind of personality we are. I think the most interesting part of this is the continued study of those core beliefs and how it affects our perception of the world today. Much of our adult experience is reenactment or reaction to these childhood experiences, prisoners of childhood or breaking free of those bondages we carry. Very self-reflective James Hetfield there, who is, I think, always working hard on himself. And that is a real interesting perspective. It sounds like he's kind of speaking about his own life too there. And the track listing here on this record, 72 seasons, Unforgiven Part 3. Unforgiven Part 4. I mean, sorry, I was lying. I made that up. That's not on the album. No, Unforgiven Part 5 next. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so it's 72 seasons. Shadows Follow. Number
Fuel
3.
Part 2.
Fuel Part 2. No. Screaming Suicide is number 3. Number 4 is Sleepwalk My Life Away. Number 5 is You Must Burn. Number 6 is Lux Æterna. Number 7 is Crown of Barbed Wire. Number 8, Chasing Light. Number 9, If Darkness Had a Sun. Number 10, Too Far Gone, ? Number 11, Room of Mirrors. And number 12, let me make sure I'm pronouncing this correctly, Inamorata. Let me know in the I know y'all let me know in the comments if I can't fucking pronounce something.
Interesting.
So, yeah, 12 new songs and 77 minutes. This is a full-length, no-holds-barred Metallica record. And, you know, I liked Hardwired. I thought it was good. I liked also, what was the record before that had Waiting for the Lord?
Death Magnetic.
Death Magnetic. I like some of the songs on Death Magnetic too. But you know, overall, I like every Metallica. I like that Metallica's still doing this, you know, and they're still doing it at a high level. I've seen them in the last 2 years, and in the last year I've seen them, and these guys are fucking as good as they've ever been live. And they are great live, still fantastic. I mean, they have the best technology, the best sound, the best pyro, the best stage. Right. It's a spectacle. And you know, in these stadiums, they're going to bring a multi-million-dollar production, and Pantera is going to get to use some of that. And we're going to get to hear these Pantera songs as they were intended, which is in front of a fucking massive audience of headbangers that are out there just ready to kick some ass. So in closing, I don't want to make this too long because this is what we have right now. And again, I'm so grateful to Anthony for jumping on here with 5 minutes. He couldn't even get his gear set up because that's how much of a fucking warrior this guy is. But, you know, this is an exciting year. I mean, we've got a new Slipknot record. We've gotten Ghost is in the process of blowing up right now. And they are a relatively younger band. And you're seeing a band like Metallica. I mean, who would have thought? At the beginning of this year, Anthony, if someone had said, hey, you're going to get Metallica and Pantera stadium shows, what would you think?
I wouldn't be surprised because there's a lot of stuff like that going. Like, I mean, the past couple of years, starting in what was supposed to be 2020, all the reunion show tours and stuff. Everyone's coming out of retirement, so it doesn't surprise me. But it does surprise me when it happens.
Yeah.
Like, but the idea doesn't surprise me.
So, do you have plans on August? Hold on, I fucked it up. I ruined it. Damn it.
You know the actual date?
I think it's I ruined the whole thing. I was going to say, do you have plans on let's see here. No. Yeah, do you have plans on August 4th and 6th, 2023 and in East Rutherford, New Jersey?
No, I don't. Well, now I do.
I do too.
Yeah, I do
too. I guess we're gonna have to coordinate our ticket purchases.
Yeah, we have to figure this out.
That's fine. I mean, I'm in. So, yeah, if I need to Apple Pay you or whatever, just let me know. And because August 4th and 6th, 2023, MetLife Stadium, Pantera. I mean, and we got Death Punch. We got it all. We got Ice Nine Kills. We got Mammoth. We got fucking Metallica. 2 unique sets.
Right.
I can't believe it. This is an exciting day. I didn't see this coming. I woke up. I was going to get some fucking coffee, and this shit hits me like a ton of bricks. And nobody told me about this, and I did not see this coming. And it's nice. It's an old school classic surprise. You don't get too many of those in social media anymore. And I was surprised by this, and that was great. And you don't get those old school, like, did you see it? Like, that's kudos to Metallica and kudos to Pantera and everybody for keeping this on the down low.
Well, I'm surprised that it's Metallica and Pantera. That's surprising to me.
Yeah. I mean, we've never, we can't find.
The Pantera reunion doesn't surprise me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, even that doesn't surprise me now, but the idea that they got the estate's blessings and then also they got Zach, they got the right personnel. They got Charlie Benante. I think the idea that they were able to make it happen was surprising to me. I didn't, right. So many times, so many great opportunities in the music industry go to shit because too many people put their hands in the cookie jar and they just fuck it up and it never happens.
Right.
You hear about things like this. You hear about really good opportunities. You go, oh, whatever happened with that? Oh, it didn't happen because of this. And there's always some super disappointing reason. So we have gotten over the last few years, some bands have gotten some really solid deals done. And, it's just been amazing. So Anthony, thank you so much for coming on here, bro, on such short notice. And, thank you to everybody who's tuning in. If you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to Rock Feed and also subscribe to Anthony Vincent on YouTube. He's got over 3 million subscribers, right?
3.46.
Who's counting? But who's counting? You know?
It goes in between 3.46 and 3.45. I lose, I gain, I lose, I gain.
So we're gaining today.
We're gaining today.
So, I mean, what's coming up on your channel? Are you going to do anything related to Metallica or Pantera since they're at the center of the universe right now?
I shouldn't I?
It would make sense.
They've been 2 of my favorite bands
I think we need a Pantera Metallica crossover video. I mean, to me, it's like I can't even get the sounds to work. That's not the one. Look, the people want it. I don't know if it's coming through, but I don't know, dude. Anyways, the point is you got to subscribe to Anthony. He's got so many great things going on. And, guys, thank you for watching. Hopefully you're as excited as me. If you have a problem with this, let me know in the comments. Are you the people that are mad about this, other than the locations of the shows? I get that. I can see that there would be people that go, there's not one near me, and not everybody can travel 8 hours to go see a show. I really do respect that. But other than that, the lineup itself, if you're pissed about it, you're just mad at this point. I think reasonably so. So anyways, y'all, thank y'all for tuning in as always. I really appreciate you guys. And Anthony, thank you for being such a trooper and coming on such short notice.
Definitely.
And by the way, you look and sound great. Whatever that laptop mic is you're using, it sounds like I'm talking to you in person.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, I'm in my studio. It's just that I don't have the usual mic that I have set up and the stuff, whatever.
Right. And we still had a great conversation. So anyways, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in, and see you next time.
Take care, everyone.